Welcome to Nugget 336 with Steve and Dana Groman. We're continuing in the March-April 2023 Discover magazine. When we get these magazines, I often read the editor's notes, and they're usually a bit interesting, but this one was interesting enough, I thought, to make a nugget of it.
Great, let's do it.
Well-versed. As a kid, I learned a surprising amount of science from reading comic books.
Anybody's ever been to our meetings, you know that's what they say.
I'm willing to bet that some of you did too. That's kind of what...
No doubt.
I was particularly attentive to the publications of DC Comics, home of Superman, Batman, The Flash, and a multitude of others. At DC, editors often peppered those old four-colored stories with interesting scientific information, while certain writers built entire storylines around some interesting new fact or theory. I don't know about that fact part, right? They have a problem with the definition of fact.
Yeah, I mean, they're calling it scientific information. No, it's what people believe.
It's evolutionary worldview interpretation.
That's exactly right.
Sure, they stretch concepts a little far in the name of fiction, but the ideas intrigued me enough to spark an abiding interest in science and a desire to learn the hard facts hinted at in my favorite comic books.
Something of interest. Many of the theorists, cosmologists, writers of today that write about science, they were all into comic books.
I think they still are. It's all pretty funny what they're saying. Yeah, new fact or theory, and I know that you've pointed out that in some of the textbooks they talk about how facts change. Well, we all know that a fact cannot change, except for when you're referring to evolutionary science, they can bend the rules.
Only a belief about that fact can change.
True, but it still has to be a fact.
Right.
Thus, it was that I was introduced to the idea of the multi-universe. Long before Hollywood leveraged the concept in popular films, even before the original Star Trek TV series devoted an episode to it, comic fans like me were well versed in the study of parallel worlds. For years, The Flash and the rest of the Justice League regularly visited other Earths, each one almost a duplicate of our own, which coexist with our world in different vibratory dimensions, as one story succinctly put it. Now, this is the editor of a major science publication.
Mm-hmm.
Just put that in the back of your thinking cap. On these other worlds, the heroes frequently met alternate versions of themselves. Some older, some younger, some evil. I love the idea that there could be another version of me and my family out there. Apart from anything else, I figured that there had to be worlds where my annoying older brother was my younger brother, or perhaps never existed at all. It was an interesting concept, you know, really made you think. This is fantasy and fiction.
Mm-hmm. And they call it science.
And they're mixing it with science.
Mm-hmm.
So-called, Timothy, says Paul. Of course, I no longer wish for my big brother to be lost in the multiverse. Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's real nice.
But I'm still captivated by what some scientists call the most controversial idea in physics. At least they're identifying it as an idea.
That's for sure.
It is our cover story, this issue, and you can read much more about it in it, Mapping the Multiverse, on page 34. As you'll see, we also give a nod to other ways that multiverse theory has bled into popular entertainment here on our version of Earth. Enjoy.
Amazing, isn't it?
There certainly is a whole lot to unpackage in this. We do want you to have a few takeaways.
Well, the one main takeaway is just because you read it or hear it or NASA says it, when you're talking about cosmology, there's a good chance it's wrong.
And the only place that we can know about our Earth and God's creation
it's in the Bible.
Is in the Bible. And we know that these evolutionary scientists, so many do have their background in fiction, and this guy admits it and flaunts it and thinks it's cool.
And quite often, these kind of people, they refuse to believe God even exists.
The other thing is that people are captivated by these movies and they start taking in those versions and like the multiverse scenario, and it starts chipping away at the foundation of God's creation.
That's exactly right. That's what it's designed to do.
Exactly. All right. Well, if you appreciate our content, tell others and repost on your social platforms. Thank you.